Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Career Makers from TA Tech Live. On behalf of the worldwide membership of TA Tech, I'm really pleased to invite you to this very special show that we have scheduled for today. But first, let me explain a little bit about Career Makers. It's unlike most of the webinars that you see on the web these days. We're not going to cover best practices. We're not going to cover strategies and tactics and talent acquisition. All of that is clearly important. But what we want to focus on is the people behind those best practices, the people who develop and innovate the strategies and tactics. So we're going to explore the careers, the learning, the lessons that people have learned as they have managed and pursued their careers in talent acquisition. And we are very fortunate today to have as our guest for the interview, Diane Smith. Diane is the co-founder and CEO of Gr8People.com. That's GR8People.com. And let's get to it. Diane, welcome to the show.
Hi, Peter.
Hey, how are you? It's nice to have you here.
It's great to see you again. It's been some time.
Yeah, it has. Too long. That's what COVID will do to you.
I know, it's been almost 2 years, so
yeah, crazy.
Super excited for today. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, we're delighted to have you here. And let's start by having you tell us a little bit about Gr8People and your role there at the company.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So my name is Diane Smith. I am the CEO and co-founder of Gr8People. Gr8People builds enterprise software. So that is software that helps mid to enterprise organizations source, nurture, and hire talent around the world. So that's anything from talent CRM, internal mobility, employee referral, recruitment marketing, really anything that's going to take them through that full life cycle of recruiting software. And today we support about 250 customers in 75 countries around the world.
Wow. How long has the company been in operation?
Since 2010.
That's a lot of progress in 11 years. Congratulations.
Thank you. We like to hustle.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Okay, so let's talk about you. Tell us a little bit about your background. Where did you grow up? Where'd you go to school? What'd you like best doing as a kid?
Yeah, sure. So I grew up in a little town in New Jersey by the name of Audubon. I then stayed in New Jersey for college, for university. I went to the Trenton State College, which is, of course, in Trenton, New Jersey. And what I really loved growing up was anything that had to do with athletics.
So what sports did you play?
Pretty much everything. Field hockey, basketball, softball, lacrosse.
Good for you. Good for you. So I'm sure you've been glued to the screen watching our athletes at the Olympics.
I have.
Yeah.
I have. It's always fun every 4 years.
Yeah. Well, this year 5. So
that's right. Yes, correct.
So here you are in the talent acquisition field, running a company. How did that get started? Was there a special experience when you came out of college or a mentor? How did you find yourself in the business of talent acquisition?
Yeah, I've had a lot of really amazing mentors throughout my 35 years in business. But for me, I think it again comes back down to athletics. And I was a highly recruited college athlete. I then had the opportunity to become a college coach. And it was really that entire process, that process of recruiting someone, that fascinated me. That one person could, number one, it could be an amazing opportunity for that one person, but that one person coming into a program or a team could actually change the dynamics of what that could be. And because I had so many great mentors and coaches, and I wanted to have the opportunity to give that experience to someone else.
So did you go into actual recruiting first, or did you go to the dark side, the business side first?
No, no. So actually, after prior to Gr8People, I was the CEO and co-founder of a company by the name of Virtual Edge, again, another enterprise recruiting software company. That company was bought by ADP in 2006. But prior to that, I worked for a staffing company, and I was an actual recruiter, and I recruited for 9 years. And that's where it all got started.
So what did you find to be the hardest thing about being a recruiter? You know, that in the day-to-day operations of recruiting.
You know, I used to always say it was one of the most difficult jobs, almost like being a realtor, except the house could talk. So so it was really trying to pinpoint what was really important to that person, then trying to make that match. And sometimes you would get it right, and other times, you know, you wouldn't. But I think that was the most difficult part.
So was that your first job, that working for the staffing company?
No, my first job out of college was I was in higher education for a time. I coached women's basketball and women's tennis at Towson University. That was my first position. And then after Towson, I coached women's basketball at Princeton University.
Wow. So those are rare experiences. Not a lot of people get to do that that kind of role. What lessons did you take away from that experience that have helped you later in your career?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I think about the first opportunity, first of all, I was only 21 years old. So going from a college senior to being a head coach on the college level, you are coaching kids, student athletes who are not that different than you in age. So I very quickly learned how to pay attention to the details. The other thing, absolutely, and I know this, you know, just from everyday work, is hard work pays off. But I think the other thing that was really important for me and for the team was to make sure that I viewed them as student athletes. That yes, you know, certainly excited that you belong to a Division I program, but that I valued them as individuals and wanted to really instill confidence in them for later in life.
Did the experience with athletics also teach you anything about how to build a team with your company employees?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's funny because, you know, you get interviewed by a lot of people and they all ask you a lot of questions. And I said, yes, I am absolutely the CEO of Gr8People, but I am also the head coach. And, you know, I'm very, very proud of that because the number one thing that I love doing is building successful teams and developing people and challenging people and getting them to that next level. And that has been the thing I actually am most proud of in my career.
So if you were talking to someone, you know, one of your direct reports, a person who is already a manager or a leader at some level, but they aspire to, you know, do better or do more senior roles in their career, what would be the one thing you would tell them about the key to building good teams?
You know, I think that is balance. You know, I think you can't have a team. You know, it's funny because as you know, I use a lot of sports analogies. It's not like you can build a team of you know, 6'8" centers. It won't work. You really need a good balance of people who can shoot the ball, people who can dribble, people who can rebound. And it's the same thing in software. And software, because software is a team sport, you really need a diverse group of people that can be flexible, that want to excel in a certain role, but again, want to your point, aspire, you know, higher. And for me, the best way to do that is, you know, cross training, is giving them an opportunity to see what other people do and learn.
Do you think there's a way to tell whether the superstars that you try to recruit and bring into your organization, whether they're going to be good team players or not? Is there a way to ferret that out as you interview somebody?
Yeah, there is. You can certainly ask, certain questions, but, being able to take a bite of that humble pie is super important to us. We've been very, very successful in the past 25 years with our customers and our software companies. But at the end of the day, people want to buy from real people, authentic, honest, and you can be successful that way. So, you can certainly ask certain questions to see what's inside.
Um, you know, despite successes, even the most successful person faces challenges, obstacles, roadblocks as he or she is moving along in their career. What challenges have you faced that you think have really uh, taught you something about leadership and about how best to manage a successful career?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think the one thing that stands above all at this point has been COVID. I don't think we've ever bumped into anything. You're going to have good years, you're going to have not so great years. Um, but COVID really, as we know, especially our industry, took us to our knees. And, for us, we're all about family first. It's what we believe in. And our major priority, which is still today, has been making sure we take care of our team physically and mentally. So, trying to be so creative about new programs. Everybody's having a bad day. You have your kids in the house, they're trying to go to school, making sure that they have the equipment that they need to work from home. But also, if you need a day off, we have something called mulligan days. Take a mulligan. If we incorporated summer hours. So we've done a lot of really good things to get them prepared for themselves. We also were an agile organization. We wanted to make sure that they had all the tools and training that they could still support our customer base. And then lastly, with COVID, I've been in this industry for over 30 years, and they're your partners, right? They're your colleagues. You've been working with these people side by side. We did anything we could to help the recruiting industry. And we gave away software. It was hard with budgets. It was difficult getting approval. So they still had to do their job. So we gave away virtual recruiting software for 6 months. So again, just trying to give back a little bit for everything that we've done.
I saw a survey the other day that said that the focus of CHROs has changed a bit in 2021. Not surprising. Obviously, key issues like DE&I remain important, but CHROs are much more focused on the mental health of their employees. And it sounds like you've done a lot of important things to take care of your own and your customers as well. But what do you think, what do you think we might have to do more of going forward in order to take care of the people who work for us?
Yeah, well, there's a couple things. So one thing is we need to find some really great programs to get women back into the market, because we lost a lot of them. I think the other thing, and this is our underlying rule, is we have to be fluid and we have to be flexible. Things are going to come at us, as we know, every day, and we can't be so stringent with our rules. We really have to look at individuals as individuals. And that's what we try to do, and we've had great success. And it comes full circle. I mean, people appreciate it, they love it, and they're thankful that they get to work for a company like that actually cares about them.
And I guess you would agree that we also want to take the lesson that Simone Biles taught us all, and to realize that it's okay not to be okay.
It's totally okay not to be okay. And she is a champion, and standing up there and being as brave as she has. You know what? And there's how many others, before her. So we absolutely have to, have focus on that. It's incredibly important.
Let's go back a little earlier in your career. Obviously, COVID, as you say, once COVID's been a huge challenge more recently, but in the very beginning, when you were just starting out, was there some particular event or situation that challenged you in a way that taught you some important lessons as well?
Yeah, I can tell you one. So when I was in college, I actually tried out for the women's Olympic field hockey team. And I made it to Colorado Springs for training, and went through all of the training and got to the final 20 players. And they brought everyone into a room, 2 separate rooms. And what I quickly found out and knew is that I was not in the right room. So being a very, very competitive person, that was heartbreaking for me.
I'll bet.
Yep. And so I went home with my tail between my legs, and with some great advice on what I needed to do. And I came back again the following year. So again, get knocked down once, right? Knocked down 8 times, whatever that saying is. And you have to get back on the horse. And that's what I did. Came back the following year and made the U.S. team. And it turned out to be a good story, but perseverance, hard work, grit, determination, all of it. And that also, your beginning is not your end. And I think that's really important for people too.
That's great advice. You've had a lot of accomplishments in your career. What are you most proud of?
I am most proud of my team building. And I think that, again, it comes from that underlying coaching foundation. Is I want to create a culture and an environment where people, they want to put their fingerprints all over it, and that you give them the opportunity to express themselves, not just the most vocal ones. And because I think that's truly what brings out great ideas, helps companies move forward. You never know where your next great idea is going to come from.
How do you get that person who is more introspective, more quiet, involved, engaged, willing to open up a little bit more?
Yeah, so I'm a big Coach K fan from Duke. I'm not a Duke fan, but I'm a fan of Coach K. For the reason being that he has been coaching basketball for 40 plus years. And every year he has a winning team. And it's not because of just him. It's because he has had this succession planning in place where he hires really great leaders. They understand the value of the team and the organization, and that gets passed down. And I think that is incredibly important when you look for new talent, or when you have someone who's shy, or whatever it might be. And again, you can do a lot of fun team events to get them out of their shell, but really having a great leader I'm going to talk to Peter one-on-one. I'm going to ask Peter what's important to him and how does he want to grow. And I think then it's really fun to watch them come out of that shyness, if you will, and stand on their own 2 feet.
Coach K was a year ahead of me at West Point and played ball with my brother-in-law. So I've known Mike for a long time. And one of the other things that I think makes him special is that he looks at the whole person, not just them, but their family as well.
That's right.
And you mentioned family earlier. Talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so when we hire any employee, it's not that we just hire them. It's we get engaged with, you know, their spouse or their partner or whoever it might be, or I want to know who their kids are. You know, especially during COVID. We did lots of things for parents to try to make it a little bit easier, from sending, you know, free pizza coupons to ice cream to whatever it is that's going to bring a little brightness into, you know, that environment. But when you hire someone, you just don't hire the person, you hire the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned earlier that, you know, one of the challenges we're going to face is figuring out a way to get women back in the workplace. Any thoughts on what we're going to have to do? I mean, we still have a fair number of kids who are not in school, at least in physical classes. We still have a number of people who have elderly parents that need care, and so forth. It's not going to be easy to provide a track back into the workplace for all of that talent that we've lost.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I think it's incredibly important for organizations to have a strategy around that for them. So, you know, there's so many interesting, to your point about having to take care of, you know, the elders or kids in school. We have to be flexible. There's a perfect opportunity that, you know, maybe it's not full time, maybe it's a couple days a week, just to start to get them back. It's really important because we've lost so many of them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we've come to my favorite question of this interview series. It's the one that I think, you know, really gives people some food for thought afterwards. Knowing what you know now, what advice would you give your 21-year-old self starting out in your career?
Wow. Well, I think just top of mind, you're not going to have it all figured out. You know, there are going to be opportunities that come and go at all different times during your career. But the one thing about the opportunities that I do tell people is try to recognize them. And when you see them, embrace them, go after them, slide in sideways, jump in with 2 feet. You know, if it works out, great. If it doesn't, fail fast, move on, but keep your head held high. And, you know, the thing we talk about at Gr8People is there's only 168 hours in a week. That's it. So it doesn't matter your age, your wealth, your role, how smart you are, you only get 168 hours. So with that, be authentic, enjoy what you do, challenge yourself, and most importantly, try to surround yourselves with great people.
So to riff on that just a little bit, would you say, you know, the goal here is to make the most of that 168 hours so that at the end, you feel good about how you spent that time, that it, you know, whether it was good or bad, up or down, at least you feel good about what you've done
Yes,
during that passage.
absolutely. And at the end of the day, in those 168 hours, you have family, you have work, you have fun, you have health. But, you know, it's something that we talk about, that there needs to be good balance. And good balance makes for, you know, good people at the end of the day.
Well, Diane, this has been a fascinating conversation. I have to admit that in all of the interviews I've done, I've never talked to a professional coach and athlete before. So this has been a lot of fun for me.
Well, thank you.
And I wish you continued success at Gr8People. I know it's a wonderful company. We're very pleased to have it as a member of TA Tech. And thank you for the wisdom and the storytelling that you shared with us today. We're really appreciative.
Well, thank you. This was wonderful, and I can't wait to see you in person.
Yeah, I can't either. Can't wait at all.
All right.
So,
Take care.
thank you. Thank
All right.
everybody for attending today. We really appreciate your joining us here with Diane Smith, co-founder and CEO of Gr8People. Our next interview show will be with Lou Adler. So please join us on August the 17th. Thanks very much.
I love Lou.
Bye-bye now.
See ya.